Chapter 6 Hell of a Summer. Victoro and Ammalia Cassalanter struck a deal with Asmodeus, Lord of the Nine Hells. 3 years ago they traded away the souls of their children to escape financial ruin. The soul of their eldest son, Osvaldo, was taken immediately. What was left behind was transformed into a chain devil, which the Cassalanters confined to their attic. Their 2 youngest children, Terenzio and Elzerina, are doomed to lose their souls when they turn 9 years old, a mere 10 days after Founders' Day, a midsummer festival that celebrates Waterdeep's founding. After the deal was struck, the Cassalanters enjoyed a miraculous comeback. Their banking and money-lending business thrived while their competition suffered. The disappearance of their eldest son, and heir apparent, earned them sympathy. Their philanthropic endeavours brought them legitimacy and new friends. They became the envy of Waterdeepian nobility in short order. Seemingly blessed, the Cassalanters attracted new followers to their cult of devil worship, which was Asmodeus's plan all along. Reneging a contract with Asmodeus is a luxury no mortal can afford, but there is a way for Lord and Lady Cassalanter to save the souls of Terenzio and Elzerina. A clause in the contract allows them to preserve their remaining and future children's lives by instead paying 1 shy of 1,000,000 gold coins and the sacrifice of 1 shy of 100 unfortunate souls. The Cassalanters have most of the coin they need, but they require the gold from the Vault of Dragons to buy their children's salvation without bankrupting themselves. Victoro is in charge of locating the Vault of Dragons and securing the gold within it. Ammalia, for her part, plans to sacrifice 99 souls in one fell swoop by throwing a feast on Founders' Day, featuring poisoned food. Both the souls and the gold must be paid to Asmodeus at the same time. Foiling either one of these schemes spells doom for the Cassalanters' plot and their youngest children. Cult of Asmodeus. Lord and Lady Cassalanters are the head of a secretive cult of Asmodeus. The cult convenes at midnight once every 10 days in the temple of Asmodeus beneath the Cassalanter Villa. During rituals of worship, members of the cult, including Lord and Lady Cassalanter, wear crimson robes, golden masks, and golden sacrificial daggers. The masks and daggers are worth 75 gold pieces each for the gold alone. Meet the Cassalanters. Each member of the Cassalanter family relaxes in different parts of the house and reacts separately to the discovery of characters intruding their home. Lord and Lady Cassalanter are often out of the house on business, especially as Founders' Day draws near. They return home an hour before dinner. Lady Ammalia Cassalanter. Lady Cassalanter reacts with surprise to the sight of uninvited guests, but quickly conceals her feelings with a welcoming smile. She attempts to gain the intruders' confidence by pretending to believe that they are guests of Victoro's and saying that she simply was not told of their presence. With this pretense established, she tries to learn the character's true intentions, casting Charm Person on the party using a 5th level spell slot, affecting up to 5 creatures within 30 feet if necessary. Using magic in this way is illegal, but Ammalia has a lot of goodwill banked in Waterdeep, enough to curry favour with the magistrate. During the hours when Ammalia is home and awake, her location in the villa can be determined randomly. Roll a d100. On a result of 1 to 70, she is tending to her butterfly garden in area C25. On a result of 71 to 90, she is smoking on the balcony in area C25A. And on a result of 91 to 100, she is weeping before Osvaldo in the attic in area C24. Lord Victoro Cassalanter. Victoro Cassalanter reacts with fiery rage to the sight of uninvited guests. He demands to know their names and calls for the butler, Willifort Crowelle, to show them out. If he has a chance, he subtly casts Dominate Person on one of the characters using an 8th level spell slot, extending its duration to 8 hours, to plant a spy among their ranks. As soon as the intruders are gone, he retires to his office in area C6. and uses his action to take total control of the dominated character. The dominated character reports to the City Watch that the party broke into Cassalanter's Villa and must be arrested for their crimes. During the hours when Victoro is home and awake, his location in the villa can be determined randomly. Roll a D100. On a result of 1 to 70, he's in his office in Area C6. On a result of 71 to 90, he's in the reading room in Area C4. And on a result of 91 to 100, he's with Ammalia at least one of the 3 locations mentioned above. Sidebar: Cassalanter Lore. A successful DC-15 intelligence history check reveals the following information about Cassalanter Villa and its inhabitants. The Cassalanters fell on hard times a few years back, but they have since reversed their fortunes and restored their lucrative banking and money-lending business. Victoro and Ammalia's eldest son disappeared 3 years ago when the family was on the verge of bankruptcy. They have 2 surviving children, young twins named Terenzio and Elzerina. Lord Victoro Cassalanter is the only living heir of the late Caladorn Cassalanter, a former Masked Lord and a hero of the North. Over the years, the Cassalanters have founded a number of philanthropic societies and made generous donations to temples dedicated to good-aligned deities. They are known to worship Cymorth, a demigod whose ethos is the nobility's right and responsibility to rule. Terenzio and Elzerina. The Cassalanter twins aren't members of their parents' cult and have no other friends, since they are privately tutored and rarely allowed to leave the estate. Around strangers, Terenzio becomes suspicious and meek, while Elzerina seems brash and outgoing. Both children are incredibly excited to meet friendly strangers and treat their new friends to a trip around the house. They help characters sneak through the villa, since the children don't know they aren't supposed to have guests. During the hours when the children are awake, their location in the villa can be determined randomly. Roll a D100. On a result of 1 to 50, they're playing in their room in Area C18. On a result of 51 to 75, they're in the library, Area C3. And on a result of 76 to 100, they're chasing butterflies in the garden in Area C25. Terenzio and Elzerina have places in the house that their parents have forbade them from visiting, and they are excited to explore, now that they have friends to accompany them. These locations are as follows: their father's office in Area C6, the attic in Area C24, the wine cellar in Area C28. If asked about their parents, Terenzio and Elzerina report that their parents are searching for some missing dragons. What their parents plan to do with a bunch of scary winged reptiles is beyond them, and Terenzio and Elzerina are too scared to ask. If befriended, they reveal that their father keeps a journal in his office in Area C6. If asked about their older brother Osvaldo, Terenzio and Elzerina repeat what their parents have told them. He's attending school in a faraway city. They don't recall which one. Neither knows the cruel fate that has befallen Osvaldo, as described in Area C24, or suspect that a similar fate awaits them. Head Servants. The head servants of Cassalanter Villa are members of the cult. These 4 servants are described below. All appear to be tieflings, though one is not. The following changes apply to the tiefling stat block. The tieflings are lawful evil. They have these racial traits. They know the thaumaturgy cantrip, and charisma is their spellcasting ability for this spell. They have resistance to fire damage. They have dark vision out to a range of 60 feet. They speak common and infernal. Willifort Crowelle. Willifort dresses in a sharp black suit and wears thin-rimmed spectacles. He's a doppelganger that usually takes the form of an aged male tiefling and greets all guests in the entrance hall of Area C1. As the Cassalanter's chief butler and Lord Victoro's personal attendant, Willifort Crowelle makes a point of knowing everything that transpires within the villa. If the Cassalanters have guests, he escorts them during their entire visit, using stealth if necessary. He ushers nosy guests away from areas or objects that might link the Cassalanters with the Asmodeus worshipping cult. Tissina Khyret. Madame Khyret is the personal attendant of Ammalia Cassalanter and is the family's chief housemaid. Madame Khyret dresses in a long black gown and wears a headdress with black tassels. She's an aged tiefling cult fanatic. She spends most of her time in the master sitting room in Area C19. Laiba Rose, better known as Nana, is the caretaker and private tutor for Terenzio and Elzerina. She does her best to keep track of their every move. Even so, the two often sneak away from her watchful eye. Nana dresses in flowing red robes. She is a female tiefling cult fanatic who relaxes in the twins' playroom, Area C17, when she's not with the children. Jandar Chergoba. As the head chef of Cassalanter Villa, Jandar determines each day's menu and oversees all activities in the kitchen. Jandar is a male tiefling cult fanatic. He is often in the kitchen in Area C10. Facing the Cassalanters. Lord and Lady Cassalanter are formidable spellcasters and devoted to one another. If one is assailed within the Cassalanter Villa, the other arrives as quickly as possible. A direct confrontation with the Cassalanters will likely result in defeat for the characters, or if the characters and Cassalanters both escape with their lives, their arrest for assaulting nobility. The Cassalanters have no desire to kill the characters, even in self-defense. They take great pains to divide and subdue the party with magic, while not inflicting grievous harm. If the characters reduce Ammalia to 30 hit points or fewer, and Victoro is with her, he banishes her to safety for a few brief moments while he continues fighting. If either Victoro or Ammalia is reduced to 30 hit points or fewer, and the other Cassalanter isn't present, they try to negotiate or bribe their assailants. The Cassalanters don't fear being arrested, since they have faith that their wealth, reputation, and contacts will keep them out of prison. They do fear the ticking clock of Founder's Day. They plead for the characters to allow them to carry out their plan, if only to save Terenzio and Elzerina's lives. Disrupting the Cassalanters' operation. Killing or injuring the Cassalanters carries grave legal consequences, but the characters can hinder the Cassalanters by destroying or stealing Ammalia's stash of Midnight Tears poison in Area C22, destroying the statue of Asmodeus in the temple in Area A7, or keeping Lord Neverember's gold out of their clutches. Gathering information. If the Cassalanters are the main villains, the characters might come to their villa if the search for the Stone of Galore or the Vault of Dragons hits a dead end. Victoro Cassalanter keeps information related to his own search for the Stone and the Vault of Dragons in his office in Area C6. Cassalanter Villa. When the characters first come near the gates of Cassalanter Villa, describe the following. Cassalanter Villa's stark white walls and gleaming crimson roof, with turrets stand out even among the other opulent estates of the Seaward. A 3-story mansion lies in the midst of a picturesque green garden, dappled with hedges and water features. The estate is surrounded by a tall white brick wall. A single wrought iron gate has an entrance. The Cassalanters' family crest, a green Y overlapping a stylized goose being fed, is emblazoned on the gate. An armoured guard stand at attention on either side. Cassalanter Villa is an extravagant manse with dozens of lavish chambers for the master of the house and their guests, but its splendour belies a terrible secret it holds. The temple of Simorph that once laid beneath the estate has been desecrated by Victoro and Ammalia's devil worship. Now this great chapel is dedicated to the Lord of the Nine Hells. Approaching Cassalanter Villa. The grounds of the Cassalanters' estate are patrolled by hired guards. 2 of them stand outside the gate of the estate. 2 more stand outside the front door of the house, and a total of 6 patrol the grounds at any time. These guards are human and are outfitted in livery that bears the crest of House Cassalanter. The house is surrounded by a well-manicured lawn. A cobblestone path leads the estate exterior's gate, to both the front entrance in Area C1 and the entrance to the coach house in Area CH1. The villa's grounds feature numerous deciduous trees and meticulously tended gardens. Spotted by the guards. Characters who try to infiltrate Cassalanter's Villa are more likely to be arrested than to be killed. The security detail around Cassalanter's Villa is meant to raise an alarm and deter petty thieves, not to stop determined adventurers. If the guards spot an intruder, they do the sensible thing: call the authorities. The City Watch has small single-person watch boxes set up on nearly every street corner in the C Ward, including the intersection just outside the gates of Cassalanter Villa. If the guard sounds the alarm, the watch members on duty fetches a force of 40 City Watch veterans to cordon off the property. Reinforcements. If the City Watch gets involved, Lord and Lady Cassalanter become worried that someone has caught onto their plot. The number of guards patrolling the grounds doubles, and Victoro dispenses with all human guards inside the house. Whenever a guard is mentioned in an interior area, that guard is now a bearded devil disguised as a human. A disguised devil looked like a muscular bearded male human in house livery. A creature that observes one closely can, with a successful DC 15 Wisdom Perception check, notice that its beard is writhing. Denizens of the Cassalanter Villa. Cassalanter Villa is home to no one but Lord and Lady Cassalanter, their children, their personal attendants, and their guards. All other servants who work at the villa live in dingy homes in the Dock Ward or the Field Ward and travel across the city in the wee hours of the morning to arrive before the Cassalanters awake. With the exception of their personal attendants, the Cassalanters replenish their servants regularly. Most move on to other jobs, but occasionally a servant discovers the secret vault in Area C29, visits the forbidden attic in Area C24, or otherwise learns too much. Such folk are fated to become sacrifices to Asmodeus. Villa features. The following features are found throughout the villa. Ceilings in rooms are 25 feet high, with 7-foot high corridors and doorways connecting them. Doors are made of exotic hardwood. If a door is locked, the lock can be picked by a character who makes a successful DC 15 dexterity check using thieves' tools, or the door can be forced open by a character who makes a successful DC 20 strength athletics check. Victoro, Ammalia, and the head butler Willifort hold keys to every room in the house. Floors are made of wood and covered with soft woolen carpets. Creatures walking in carpeted rooms have advantage on dexterity stealth checks. All areas are well lit by oil lamps, lanterns, or chandeliers. The Cassalanters keep no silver objects, with the exception of coins, in their house, since silver is harmful to devils. Areas of the villa. The following areas correspond to the labels on map 6.1. The villa connects the Temple of Asmodeus through a secret door in Area C28. If the occupants or features of a location change during the Founders' Day party, the text includes a Founders' Day section for describing those changes. Guest House. The Cassalanters host guests in this stately guest house. Area CG1. Mudroom. Guests can remove and store dirty cloaks and boots here. Area CG2. Storage. Guests can store their travelling gear here. Area CG3. Dining Room. This room is furnished with 2 dining tables, each surrounded by 6 chairs. Area CG4. Kitchen. Guests are expected to dine with the Cassalanters in the manor, but can prepare their own breakfast here. Area CG5. Parlour. This room is furnished with a billiard table, a card table, and 4 luxurious armchairs. Area CG6. Sitting Room. This room features an upright piano and 4 luxurious armchairs. Area CG7. Bedrooms. Each room contains a bed for 2, a pair of wardrobes, a small vanity with matching stool, and a storage trunk for valuables. Area CG8. Master Bedroom. This room has a balcony and contains a large canopied bed, a standing mirror in a gilded frame, and a writing desk and matching chair, a dresser, a tall wardrobe, and an owlbear throw rug draped over padded chairs with matching ottoman. Coach House. The Cassalanters own 3 carriages, one for their banking business, one for public appearances, and one for private use. They also own 6 horses, 4 draft horses to pull carriages, and 2 riding horses. The horses are kept in stalls that are cleaned every morning just before dawn. Tacks, bridles, feed and other necessities for the horses are stored in the coach house as well. Area C1, Entrance Hall. This hall has the following features. A magnificent harpsichord sits in the hall. A crimson carpet runs down the hall towards an open door to the foyer. Light from a crystal chandelier reflects off more than 3 dozen holy symbols of Simorph perched on the wall shelves, each in the form of a silver chalice with a golden sun etched on its outside. If the characters are expected guests, Willifort Crowelle, as described in Head Servants, awaits them here and guides them to the smoking room in Area C12 to meet with Lord Cassalanter. He allows them to explore the house while they wait, but follows them doggedly. Founders Day. The hall is filled with chatty guests holding flutes of sparkling wine. One is playing the harpsichord. Area C2, Garden Mudroom. This room has the following features. A guard dressed in House Cassalanter livery sits idly on a crate, watching the outside door. The floor is caked with mud. Several rows of muddy boots and gardening gloves are strewn about the floor. Founders Day. Esvel Rosna, the Black Viper, is hiding in an alcove and putting on her Black Viper mask and hood. She is wearing a sleek black leather suit, and a frilly ball gown lies at her feet. Esvel has slipped away from her overbearing parents, Roltem and Azela Rosna, and is preparing to sneak through the villa and rob the Cassalanters blind. The characters can convince the Black Viper to help them as they scour the Cassalanter Villa by succeeding on a DC 14 Charisma, Intimidation or Persuasion check. If Esvel decides to help the characters, she fights alongside them and discovers treasure and secret doors automatically. Area C3, Library. This is the Cassalanters' private library. It contains the following features. The scent of old parchment hangs thick in the air. The walls are lined with tall shelves packed with colourful leather-bound books. Each bookshelf is outfitted with a ladder and a rolling track to enable people to reach the highest books. Shelves that take up the entire southwest wall hold not books but 80 wide-neck glass bottles filled with swirling mist and sealed with corks. Hanging on the north wall between 2 bookshelves is a 7-foot-tall portrait of Lord and Lady Cassalanter holding 2 infant children and standing beside their teenage son Osvaldo. This portrait conceals a secret door. If Terenzio and Elzerina are here, they are playing on the sliding ladders. Books. None of the books are magical. Jars of mist. The glass bottles on the southwest shelf contain magically captured sounds, including songs, operas, and recorded lectures. Uncorking a bottle temporarily releases its auditory contents into the library, after which the sound returns to its bottle. Breaking a bottle releases the sound, but the sound dissipates after it plays once. All the bottles are labelled. Sample contents include the following. Agharion's Dragon Ward, a lecture given by Kelban Arasan about the Dragon Ward that protects Waterdeep. Canticle of the Silver Chalice, a hymn to the demigod Simorph. Wulfgar and the Crystal Shard, an epic opera detailing the adventures of a barbarian, a dwarf and a drow in Icewind Dale. Your Beardy Face, a traditional dwarven love song popular in the Moonsea region. Secret Door. The Cassalanter family portrait hides a secret door. Tilting the painting causes the door to swing outward on hidden hinges, revealing the pantry in Area C11 beyond. A character can notice a slight gap beneath the secret door with a successful DC 18 Wisdom Perception check. Area C4, Reading Room. This reading nook has the following features. Light pours into this room through 4 tall bay windows that look out onto the butterfly gardens in Area C25. Furnishings include a luxurious armchair and a small side table where an empty wine glass sits atop a small book. A door in the northern wall has a butterfly-shaped stained glass peephole. If Victoro Cassalanter is here, he's reading a historical text entitled Rise and Fall of Hellgate Keep and taking notes in his journal. Journal. The small book on the side table is a journal that Victoro Cassalanter uses to take notes while reading. It mostly contains dry observations about atlases of Playroom and history books. A character who flips through the journal and succeeds on a DC 15 intelligence investigation check can pick out a few notes made by Victoro that are unrelated to his reading. Neverember's dragon are an answer to our prayers. The Cassalanter mausoleum inform YG. The initials refer to Lady Yalar Gralhunt. Galore is an aboleth. Now it all makes sense. If the characters are still searching for the Stone of Galore in Chapter 4, you can include the journal as a clue regarding the stone's location. If the Cassalanters have the stone, it's hidden in Area C6 when it's not in use. Area C5, Foyer. 2 guards in House Cassalanter livery are stationed in this marble foyer at all hours. It has 7 exits. A door to the entrance hall in Area C1. An open arch that leads to a spacious dining room in Area C9. 3 unmarked doors in the east wall to areas C6, C7, and C8. A grand staircase that ascends to the 2nd floor in Area C13. An unassuming door under the stairs that lead to the cellar in Area C26. Founders Day. The foyer is filled with lavish bouquets in ceramic floor vases and wealthy guests chatting loudly and drinking sparkling wine, while the gentle music of a string quartet drifts down from upstairs. Area C6, Victoro's office. The door to this room is locked. The room contains the following features. A tall stack of legal tomes and financial ledgers rests atop a solid mahogany desk. A freestanding suit of bronze armour, complete with helms, gauntlets and greatsword, stands just inside the door. If Victoro Cassalanter is here, he's seated behind the desk with fingers steepled deep in thought. Armour. The suit of armour standing by the door is a helmed horror. It obeys Victoro's commands. When Victoro isn't present, it attacks anyone who opens the door without a key, or anyone not of Cassalanter's blood who opens Victoria's desk. The Cassalanter children know about this construct and warn friendly characters about it. Desk. Victoro's desk is locked and can be opened with Victoro's golden key. A character can pick the lock by succeeding on a DC 18 dexterity check using thieves' tools. The desk drawer contains 13 sealed scroll tubes, a signed contract inside each one. These contracts outline the terms of loans made by Victoro to various nobles, merchants, and guilds. The drawer also has a secret compartment that characters can find with a successful DC 18 Wisdom Perception check. It holds a holy symbol of Asmodeus crafted from solid gold, worth 250 gold pieces. Stone of Galore. If the Cassalanters have the artifact and aren't using it, it is also hidden in the desk's secret compartment. Area C7, Cloakroom. This walk-in cloakroom contains the Cassalanter family's expensive coats and cloaks. It also has a room for the garments of up to 100 guests. Area C8, Covered Porch. This covered porch is the entryway typically used by the Cassalanter's servants. 10 servants, human commoners, eat here at mealtimes. Area C9, Family Dining Room. This room holds the following noteworthy features. A dozen chairs surround a beautifully carved dining table in the middle of the room. The table is set with golden plates, utensils, goblets and candlesticks. Silk napkins add to the display. The Cassalanters dine here as family, sometimes inviting a guest or two to join them. Founders Day. During the party, the dining table is converted into a card table. 10 wealthy nobles are playing a high-stakes game of 3 Dragon Ante. A character can play around by betting 5 gold pieces and making a DC 15 intelligence check, adding the proficiency bonus if the character is proficient with gaming sets. On a successful check, the character wins 10 gold pieces. On a failed check, the character loses the stake. Treasure. The gold table setting and candlesticks are worth 2,500 gold pieces in total. Area C10, Kitchen. From sunrise until after sundown, this kitchen is a hive of activity. A half-dozen chefs run to and fro, seasoning meat, mixing batter, and otherwise preparing an impressive variety of food. A rotund, red-faced man in a tall white hat barks orders at his underlings, brandishing a sharp knife with every instruction. Stairs in this room lead to a banquet kitchen on the 2nd floor, in Area C14. The head chef, Jandar Chergoba, oversees 6 chefs, human commoners. If Jandar believes the characters are a threat, he shouts, "For Zaral!" and causes 10 knives to magically rise from the counters and attack. These knives are flying swords that deal 4 or 1d6+1 piercing damage on a hit. Founders Day. Jandar isn't here. Instead, he's preparing Ammalia's poison feast in a cooking pavilion out on the estate's sprawling lawn. Area C11, Pantry. This room contains the following features. Casks of ale, fresh water, and cooking oil are stacked in the middle of the room. Shelves of foodstuffs and ingredients line the wall. The back wall of the pantry is one large wine rack that contains a variety of splendid bottled wines. This wine rack conceals a secret door. Locked iron box. Jandar Chergoba, the head chef, keeps his golden sacrificial dagger, golden mask, and crimson robes in a locked iron box underneath a sack of potatoes, as described in the Cult of Asmodeus. The box can be unlocked with Jandar's golden key, or by a character who makes a successful DC 15 dexterity check using thieves' tools. A character can also pry it open with a successful DC 25 strength athletics check. Secret door. The secret door to the library in Area C3 can be detected by a character who makes a successful DC 18 wisdom perception check. The character discovers that lifting a bottle of Baldur's Gate Pinot Noir from the rack unlocks the door and allows it to be pushed open. Area C12, Smoking Room. This room contains the following features. One guard in House Cassalanter livery stands here, absent-mindedly examining the regal portraits that adorn the walls and that rest on fancy easels in various spots. Fine armchairs arranged throughout the room smell faintly of pipeweed. The scent is almost obscured by an intense and delicate perfume. If Lord Cassalanter has invited the characters into his home for any reason, he meets them here. If the conversation turns to business, he has Willifort bring his guests glasses of fine brandy and pipes filled with pipeweed. Portraits. The portraits on the wall depict several generations of Cassalanters. One of the easels, more recently painted, includes the following. A somber young Victoro and his beaming human father. A wedding portrait showing Victoro and Ammalia smiling and carefree. 12-year-old Osvaldo holding a ceremonial rapier. Ammalia sitting with baby Terenzio and Elzerina in her lap, while Victoro reads them a fairy tale. Area C13, Ballroom. This elegant ballroom contains the following noteworthy features. In the centre stands an eerie human-sized wooden cloth mannequin with a painted face. It is dressed like a ballroom dancer. The polished marble floor is a dazzling mosaic that depicts a silver chalice with the image of a golden sun on its outside. Characters who succeed on a DC 10 intelligence religion check recognize it as the holy symbol of Simorph, demigod of nobility. Gilded mirrors and handsome tapestries festoon the walls. Along the west wall, windows with crimson drapes stretch from the floor to the ceiling. Despite its grandeur, this ballroom seems strangely dismal without anyone dancing in it. Stairs lead down to the foyer of Area C5 and up to a hallway outside Area C17 and C19. Dancing construct. The dressed mannequin is a magical construct that serves as a dance partner. It has the statistics of a nimble right, but has no effective attacks and is worth 0 experience points. When a humanoid bows or curtsies before the construct, it makes the other gesture, while a magic mouth spell plays a recorded message in common. Which dance would you like? Gillard? Pavan? Waltz? The construct follows its partner's lead until the dance ends, then it becomes still again. Founders Day. During the party, dozens of wealthy masked guests dance to a lively waltz played by a string quartet. Area C14. Banquet Kitchen. The Banquet Kitchen is an additional cooking space used in conjunction with the main kitchen during social functions. It is otherwise empty and its doors are locked. Founders Day. The kitchen is bustling with activity as 4 chefs, human commoners, prepare an array of pies for noble guests. Area C15. Banquet Hall. The only piece of furniture in this expansive hall is a long wooden dining table that happens to be a giant mimic in disguise. It has the statistics of a normal mimic with these changes. The mimic is large and has 75 or 10d10 plus 20 hit points. As an action, it makes 3 attacks, 2 with its pseudopods and 1 with its bite. It has a challenge rating of 3, worth 700 experience points. The mimic is well treated by the Cassalanters and won't harm any member of the household. It obeys only Lord and Lady Cassalanter. Founders Day. The room is outfitted with dozens of chairs and the table is filled with food. 24 party guests are gorging themselves here at any time. 4 doppelgangers from the yawning portal have slipped into the party disguised as nobles. Their leader, Bonnie, as described in familiar faces, poses as a minor noblewoman going by the name Lymira Luralstar. She was hoping to have a fun night at the party, but she's willing to help out the characters if they need aid. Area C16. Piano Room. A gleaming grand piano is pushed against the wall of this dusty room. Behind it are several unmarked closets. This room is generally empty unless a social event is taking place, or Nana Rose is giving the Cassalanter children a piano lesson. Founders Day. Wealthy guests are chatting here and using the powder rooms in Area C16B. Area C16A. Storage Closet. This closet holds crates filled with winter blankets, mops and other household necessities. Area C16B. Powder Rooms. These rooms are locked. They contain mirrors and are largely unused except during social functions. Founders Day. Fancy nobles are waiting here in line to freshen up. Area C17. Playroom. This room contains the following features. Strewn about on the floor are giant stuffed toys, jack-in-the-boxes, dolls, and a rocking horse shaped like a warhorse. A large mobile in the form of a butterfly hangs from the ceiling and turns listlessly. If she hasn't been dealt with elsewhere, the twins' nanny, Labia Rosse, sits here and crochets dolls for the children. Area C18. Twins' Bedroom. The twins' bedroom contains the following features. 2 4-poster beds take up the bulk of this room. At night the room is cluttered with dozens of toys. In the morning the toys are returned to their toy boxes by a housemaid. A life-size stuffed unicorn stands in one corner. If Terenzio and Elzerina are here, Terenzio is dressed in a crude dragon costume and is being chased around the room by his sister, who is wearing a knight's helm and swinging a wooden sword. Stuffed Unicorn. This inanimate object counts as an actual unicorn for the purposes of opening the Vault of Dragons as described in Vault Keys. Area C18A to Area C18B. Closets. These closets are filled with stuffed animals and spare blankets. Area C19. Master Sitting Room. Lady Cassalanter's attendant, Tissina Khyret, spends most of her time here when she's not with her mistress. The room is furnished for comfort and includes overstuffed chairs, fainting couches, and a wine bar. Area C20, Linen Closet. This closet is packed with folded bed sheets and other assorted linens. 2 of the downy duvets stacked in this room are rugs of smothering that attack any creature that isn't a Cassalanter or one of the servants. Any combat in this room draws attention of both Laiba Rosse from Area C17 and Tissina Khyret from Area C19. Lockbox. Willifort Crowelle and Tissina Khyret keep their cult regalia, as described in the Cult of Asmodeus section, in a gold-embellished lockbox hidden under a stack of quilts bearing the image of flying devils. The box can be unlocked with either Willifort or Tissina's golden key, or by a character who succeeds on a DC 14 dexterity check using thieves' tools. It can also be pried open with a successful DC 16 strength athletics check. Area C21, Master Bedroom. The door to this room is locked. The room contains the following noteworthy features. The walls are adorned with 9 friezes, each one depicting a layer of the 9 hells. A 4-poster bed draped in deep red curtains and tipped with golden spires stands before an ornate door carved from dark hardwood with a golden latch. This door is locked and leads to Area C22. A search of the room reveals a golden lockbox tucked under the bed. Golden lockbox. Both Victoro and Ammalia keep their cult regalia, as described in the Cult of Asmodeus section, in a solid gold lockbox worth 750 gold pieces, hidden under their bed. The box can be unlocked with either Victorio's or Ammalia's golden key, or by a character who makes a successful DC 14 dexterity check using thieves' tools. It can also be pried open with a successful DC 16 strength athletics check. If the box is opened by any means other than a golden key, poison gas sprays out from the holes on the underside of the lid, filling a 15-foot radius sphere centered on the box. This trap can't be disarmed. Any creature in this area must make a DC 13 Constitution saving throw, taking 22 or 4d10 poison damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. The gas dissipates quickly. Area C22, Ammalia's private study. The door to this room is locked. The room contains the following features. The walls are lined with bookshelves packed with thick tomes. A grimoire with a red leather cover sits on a desk carved from dark oak. A ladder leads up to a trap door in the ceiling. Bookshelves. The books on the shelves include works of fiction and non-fiction. Desk. Aside from the grimoire as described further on, the desk holds an ornate golden candlestick worth 125 gold pieces, a golden inkwell worth 25 gold pieces, and a feathered quill pen worth 15 gold pieces. The desk drawer contains a wax seal bearing the Cassalanter's crest, Ammalia Cassalanter's spellbook, which contains all the spells she has prepared, and 10 vials of jet black poison known as Midnight Tears, as described in the poison section of the Dungeon Master's Guide. Ammalia plans to taint the Founders' Day feast with the poison, as described in special events. Poisons. Given their insidious and deadly nature, poisons are illegal in most societies, but are a favoured tool among assassins, drow, and other evil creatures. Poisons come in the following 4 types. Contact. Contact poison can be smeared on an object and remains potent until touched or washed off. A creature that touches contact poison with exposed skin suffers its effects. Ingested. A creature must swallow an entire dose of ingested poison to suffer its effects. You might decide that a partial dose has a reduced effect, such as allowing advantage on the saving throw or dealing only half damage on a failed save. The dose can be delivered in a food or liquid. Inhaled. These poisons are powders or gases that take effect when inhaled. Blowing the powder or releasing the gas subjects a creature within a 5-foot cube to its effects. The resulting cloud dissipates immediately afterwards. Holding one's breath is ineffective against inhaled poisons, as they affect nasal membranes, tear ducts, and other parts of the body. Injury. Injury poisons can be applied to weapons, ammunition, trapped components, and other objects that deal piercing or slashing damage, and remains potent until delivered through a wound or washed off. A creature that takes piercing or slashing damage from an object coated with the poison is exposed to its effects. Midnight Tears. Adventuring gear. Poison. Ingested. Worth 1,500 gold pieces. A creature that ingests this poison suffers no effect until the stroke of midnight. If the poison has not been neutralized before then, the creature must succeed on a DC 17 Constitution saving throw, taking 31 or 9d6 poison damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. Red Grimoire. The tome on the desk, bound in crimson leather, details a diabolical ritual that Ammalia and Victoro enacted to first contact the archdevil Asmodeus. Opening it reveals nothing but blank pages, with a few drops of dry blood on them. If a drop of humanoid blood is spilled on any page, infernal text on that page becomes legible, remaining so until the book is closed. The blood remains even after the text vanishes. Any character with the ritual casting feature, or the ritual caster feat, who spends 24 hours reading the book, can master the ritual described within. The ritual takes 11 minutes to cast, and requires incense and a vial of unholy water, which are consumed during the performance of the ritual. At the end of the ritual, a proxy of Asmodeus appears and grants its summoner the benefits of a commune spell. The proxy is formed of incense smoke and resembles a pit fiend. A character must finish a long rest before performing the ritual again. Trapdoor. The trapdoor in the ceiling is the entrance to the attic. Area C-23. Attic Landing. A thick scent of sulfur pervades the attic. The only illumination is a beam of light that shines feebly through a shuttered window at the west end of the room. This attic is soundproof as long as no doors are open. Osvaldo's howling can be heard outside the attic only if the trapdoor between this room and Area C-22 and the door between this room and Area C-24 are both open at the same time. Additionally, creatures that have telepathy can't communicate telepathically with creatures outside the attic unless the doors are open. Terenzio and Elzerina have heard howling coming from the attic 2 or 3 times in their lives and are curious about what lurks up there. Area C-24. Osvaldo's prison. If Ammalia Cassalanter or Victoro Cassalanter are both present, the doors to this room is unlocked but closed. Otherwise it's locked shut, and Victoro and Ammalia carry the only keys. When the characters first open the door, describe the following. You're greeted with a wave of incoherent howling, as if opening the door broke down a dam that had been holding back a madman's screams. Osvaldo Cassalanter shrieks and moans at all hours of the day. He's trying desperately to get someone to hear him and come to his rescue. If one or both of his parents are here, he spits curses at them as they weep before him. Osvaldo Cassalanter. Ammalia and Victoro Cassalanter traded the souls of their eldest child for power. Stripped of his humanity, Osvaldo was chained up in the Cassalanter Villa and slowly transformed into a devil, and an insane one at that. Now a creature of pure evil and hate, he has no hope of regaining what is taken from him. Game statistics. Osvaldo is a chained devil. Guarding the room are 2 imps in spider form. They answer to Lord Cassalanter, and their job is to kill birds, rats, and other vermin that find their way into the attic. They attack anyone who tries to free Osvaldo or threatens other family members present. The Cassalanter's heir apparent is a soulless abomination thanks to his parents' thoughtless greed. His empty shell of a body has been transformed into a chain devil that his parents have imprisoned using his own chains. A 10-foot diameter pentagram has been burned into the floor around him. A detect magic spell reveals a powerful aura of abjuration magic emanating from the symbol. Osvaldo's chains are wrapped around the beams and timbers that frame the room. He can't damage the house, nor can he break his own chains. He can only howl impotently at the misery being inflicted on him. He is thoroughly insane, and can't be reasoned with. A successful DC 15 Intelligence Arcana check reveals that the pentagram prevents Osvaldo from manipulating his chains, and that the effect ends if another creature enters the area encompassed by the pentagram. The magic of the pentagram can also be dispelled with a DC of 15. If he is freed, Osvaldo regains control of his chains and attacks indiscriminately. If he is reduced to 0 hit points, the Chain Devil cries out for his mother before melting into a pool of sickening black ichor. Area C24A, Attic Storage. This room contains derelict furnishings draped in black linens, chairs, coat racks, freestanding mirrors, dress mannequins and the like. These draped objects take on a sinister countenance in the gloom, but are harmless. Area C25, Butterfly Garden. In the spring, Ammalia Cassalanter's gardens attract caterpillars, which transform into butterflies come summer. Lady Cassalanter's butterfly garden is the envy of her peers. The sweet scent of flowers and herbs filters up from the planters and rose bushes. If Terenzio and Elzerina are here, they are frolicking in the garden. If Ammalia Cassalanter is here, she is watching the children or tending to her garden. 6 imps in raven form hang around the butterfly garden and occasionally prey on Ammalia's prized pets when their mistress isn't looking. Despite their insolence, Ammalia uses these imps as spies. She sends them on missions throughout the city. They also warn Ammalia of trespassers and attack anyone who threatens a member of her family. Founders Day. During the party, 2 young hot-blooded nobles have accidentally offended one another. They have changed into dueling garb and are fighting with rapiers to resolve their differences, while onlookers drink wine and cheer them on. Area C25A, Garden Balcony. This balcony overlooks the grounds of the Cassalanter estate, and even offers a view of the sea swords beyond the outer walls of the sea ward. If Ammalia Cassalanter is here, she is smoking and either staring dismally out towards the ocean, or watching her children in the garden below in Area C25. Area C26, Cellar. This cellar is kept free from dust and cobwebs by servants. It is unsettlingly cold, no matter the time of year. It contains spare furniture, a laundry tub, and a trunk full of old clothing. Area C27, the False Vault. The door to this vault is made of solid iron and sports 3 different locks. Victoro and Ammalia each have a set of keys for them. Opening the door without the keys requires a character to succeed on 3 consecutive DC 20 dexterity checks using thieves' tools. On a failed check, all 3 locks reset. The door has an armor class of 19 and a damage threshold of 10 with 90 hit points, and immunity to poison and psychic damage. A creature can break it down with a successful DC 27 Strength Athletics check. The vault is empty. Cold Trap. If a creature enters the vault first without saying, "Gold is my shield," an intense blast of magical cold fills the room. Each creature in the vault at that time must make a DC 16 Constitution saving throw, taking 36 or 8d8 cold damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. A Detect Magic spell reveals a secret to disabling the trap. A tiny magical glyph is inscribed in the middle of the ceiling. If this glyph is dispelled with a successful casting of Dispel Magic, with a difficulty of 16, the trap ceases to function. Area C28, the Wine Cellar. This cellar contains the following features. The east wall is lined with nearly 30 casks of wine. A faint draught comes from the south end of the wine cellar. The draught betrays the location of a secret door. The servants rarely spend much time here, since the cellar is unlit and cold. Characters feel a strange sense of foreboding here. Secret door. A faded holy symbol of Cymorph, a silver chalice bearing a golden sun symbol, is painted on the south wall. If the sun symbol is pushed, the wall grinds open, revealing Area C29 beyond. A character who searches the wall automatically detects the secret door and can, with a successful DC 10 Wisdom Perception check, figure out how to open it. Area C29, Secret Vault. Most of the Cassalanters' wealth is tied up in investments, but the family keeps a stack of 25-pound silver trade bars, worth 25 gold pieces each here for emergencies. At the back of the vault is a dark staircase that descends 30 feet to the Temple of Asmodeus, as described in Area A1. Founders Day. In addition to the treasure noted above, the vault contains 500 stacks containing 1,000 gold pieces each, a liquidated family asset. If the Cassalanters were successful in looting the Vault of Dragons, the vault contains an additional 500 stacks, the sum total of the treasure taken from the vault, for a total of 1 million gold pieces. The gold remains here until it is taken down into the temple, as described in special events. Temple of Asmodeus. Beneath Cassalanter Villa lies a secret temple where Victoro leads a cult that worships Asmodeus. Cult members include evil-minded nobles, as well as deluded commoners lured by the prospect of wealth and status. The entire cult gathers in the temple at midnight on the first day of every 10-day for a dark mass. During these ceremonies, they pledge their devotion to the Lord of the Nine Hells, call out the names of their enemies, and beseech Asmodeus to visit ruin upon their foes. They also drink wine, share gossip, and offer the occasional sacrifice. For the Cassalanters, these events are opportunities to flaunt their power and impose their will on their lessers. Temple features. The following general features apply to the temple. Rooms are dimly lit by flickering candles placed in tall, slender, wrought iron candlesticks. Ceilings in rooms are 10 feet high unless otherwise noted. Passages are 8 feet tall, with 7-foot tall doorways. Doors are made of iron-banded wood. Cultists who aren't members of the nobility wear cheap red robes, devil masks, and wooden amulets that bear the symbol of Asmodeus. Areas of the temple. The following areas correspond to the labels on map 6.2. The temple is connected to Cassalanter Villa by a staircase that connects with Area A1. Also, an underground stream in Area A9 leads away from the temple's lower level and eventually leads out to the mudflats northwest of Waterdeep. Changes to the temple that occur during cult gatherings are noted in the cult gathering section. Area A1, Hall of the Damned. The features of this hall are readily apparent. In the middle of the hall, a spiral staircase descends 20 feet to a lower level, Area A3. The faint sound of chanting is audible coming from a corridor to the northwest. To the south are 3 cells with iron-banded wooden doors. A small barred window is embedded in each door at the height of a human's eye. The cell doors face a stone pillar. Hanging from a hook on the pillar is a ring of keys. Cells. When the Cassalanters decide to sacrifice humans in their rituals, they lure homeless Waterdavians to their estate and confine them in these cells. The keys to unlock the doors hang from the stone pillar. A lock can be picked by a character who makes a successful DC 15 dexterity check using thieves' tools. All 3 cells are currently empty. Chanting. The sound is that of prayer to Asmodeus being recited by the cultists in Area A7. Area A2, Balconies. 2 crumbling balconies with stone railings overlook the temple's ceremonial hall in Area A7. The distance to the floor below is 20 feet. Collapsing floor. The balcony floors have weakened with age. Any medium or larger creature that steps onto a 5-foot square marked C on the map must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw as the floor crumbles and falls away, leaving a gaping hole. On a failed save, the creature falls 20 feet and lands prone on the floor below in Area A7 amid stone debris. On a success, a creature avoids the fall by leaping to an adjacent unoccupied space. The sound of the collapsing floor can be heard throughout the temple. Area A3, Anterior Vestibule. The spiral staircase from Area A1 ends at this chamber. Asmodeus portrait. Mounted on the back wall of an alcove to the north is an 18-foot high, 9-foot wide portrait in a gilded frame. The picture depicts a strikingly handsome and impeccably dressed bearded man with small horns protruding from his forehead. He carries a ruby-tipped cane. Any character who succeeds on a DC 10 Intelligence Religion check recognizes the figure as Asmodeus. Cult Gathering. During cult gatherings, a bearded devil guards each of the doors leading to Area A7. Area A4, Family Crypt. 12 stone sarcophagi are packed deep into recesses in the walls. The plaster lid of each sarcophagus is carved with the likeness of a noble clutching a chalice that bears the symbol of the sun. The sarcophagi contain nothing but dust and bones. The spirits of several dead members of the Cassalanter family are bound to this crypt. They manifest as 3 dark vaporous spectres, plus a ghost that looks like an insubstantial image of a handsome, clean-shaven man of knightly bearing, clad in plate armor. These undead attack any living creatures, but can't leave the crypt or approach within 5 feet of any creature that wears a holy symbol of Asmodeus. The ghost is all that remains of Caladorn Cassalanter, a former masked lord and hero of Waterdeep. The ghost halts its attack and calls off the spectres if the character wears or presents a holy symbol of Cymorph. After it's shown such a symbol, the ghost guides the characters to its personal crypt in Area A4A. A4A, Caladorn's Crypt. A dusty stone sarcophagus occupies this crypt, its plaster lid carved with the likeness of a handsome clean-shaven nobleman clutching a chalice engraved with the symbol of the sun. The likeness resembles the ghost of Caladorn Cassalanter. Treasure. Caladorn's bones have turned to dust, but his suit of +1 plate armor remains. Also lying in the dust is a mace of disruption. If Caladorn's ghost is present when one or both magic items are removed from the sarcophagus, it asks, "Do you vow to use these items to defeat the forces of darkness?" An answer in the affirmative is sufficient to lay the ghost to rest. Before vanishing for good, it says, "Use the mace to destroy the effigy of evil incarnate. End the corruption to restore my family's honor." The effigy is the statue of Asmodeus in Area A7. Area A4B, Empty Crypt. This crypt contains nothing but dust and cobwebs. Area A5, Cultists' Chamber. This room has the following features. 6 wooden cots stand against the north and south walls. The west wall is carved with 4 bas-reliefs of pit fiends. Tired cultists sleep here after ceremonies, particularly if they drank too much wine. Secret door. Behind one of the bas-reliefs is a secret door, which can be detected with a successful DC 13 Wisdom Perception check. Pushing against the sculpture causes a secret door to swing open into Area A6. Area A6, Secret Vestry. This room is hidden behind 2 secret doors that aren't disguised on the inside, where a stone knob on each door allows it to be pulled open with ease. The room contains the following features. Against the south wall stands 2 black wardrobes with 9 pointed stars carved into their doors. A pair of tall slender mirrors are mounted on the west wall, their stone frames carved with serpents. Stacked in the middle of the room are 6 casks of wine used for cult celebrations. Each wardrobe contains 5 complete outfits of cult regalia, sized for adult humans, red robes, devil masks, and wooden amulets shaped in the symbol of Asmodeus. Cult Gathering. An hour before a cult gathering, 5 human cultists are here donning their regalia. Area A7, Ceremonial Hall. This hall has a 30-foot high vaulted ceiling and a pair of 20-foot high balconies, as described in Area A2 overlooking it. Its other features are as follows. Rows of flickering candles in iron candlesticks form a pathway to a 30-foot tall stone statue at the west end of the hall. The statue depicts a smiling bearded man of diabolical bent, with small horns protruding from his brow and cloven hooves instead of feet. At the base of the statue, clutched in a stone claw erupting from the floor, is a 3-foot deep, 9-foot diameter stone bowl filled with crackling flames. 3 human cultists wearing red robes, devil masks, and a wooden holy symbol of Asmodeus kneel before the statue, feverishly chanting an infernal hymn. During a cult gathering, the number of cultists present increases dramatically. The walls around the statue are covered by large tapestries that depict scenes of human debauchery. Behind the north tapestry is a rough-hewn passage that leads to Area A9. The Cassalanters' ritual to save Terenzio and Elzerina plays out here as described in special events. Cult gathering. If the cult is here in force, 30 human cultists stand in neat rows before the statue, chanting to Asmodeus with wooden goblets in hand, while their leader, Victoro Cassalanter, tosses offerings into the bowl. Roughly half of the cultists are members of the nobility. The rest are Waterdeepian rabble brought into the cult to fill out the ranks. Standing around the perimeter are Willifort Crowelle, Tissina Khyret, Laiba Rosse, and Jandar Chergoba, as described in Head Servants. Their job is to make sure the other cultists behave themselves, while Ammalia Cassalanter walks gracefully through the crowd with a gold decanter, ceremonially pouring wine into the cultist goblets for toasting to the Lord of the Nine Hells. Lady Cassalanter's 6 imps, as described in Area C25, are perched invisibly on the statue. Devil statue and sacrificial bowl. The statue once depicted Cymorph, but the Cassalanters used stone-shaped spells to recast it in an image of their dread lord Asmodeus. The massive bowl at the foot of the statue was also fashioned with stone-shaped spells. It radiates a strong aura of conjuration magic when subjected to a detect magic spell or similar magic. Magical flames erupt from the bowl as long as they remain intact. Any creature that enters the flames or starts its turn in them takes 4d10 fire damage. A creature reduced to 0 hit points by this damage turns to ashes. Non-magical objects tossed into the flames are destroyed. If the statue is struck by a mace of disruption, it cracks and falls to pieces, shattering the bowl as it tumbles down. Any member of the cult who witnesses the destruction of the statue takes 11 or 2d10 psychic damage. Secret door. The secret door leading to Area A6 can be found with a successful DC 13 Wisdom Perception check. Pushing on that section of wall causes it to swing open. Stream. Flowing behind the statue is a stream that enters and exits through 1 foot high, 2 foot wide arched culverts. Area A8. Storage closet. Against the back wall of this closet stands an unlocked cabinet with a black rug laid out before it. The cabinet contains a gold decanter worth 125 gold pieces, and shelves holding wooden wine goblets. Cult gathering. The cabinet is empty, as the decanter and the goblets are being put to use in Area A7. Area A9. Stream and pool. An underground stream flows through the west side of the temple and into a 5-foot deep pool here before meandering northwest and emerging in the mud flats. Special events. If the Cassalanters fail to obtain the Stone of Galore, the following events don't come to pass. As a consequence, Terenzio and Elzerina are transformed into lemures as their souls are forfeit 10 days after Founders' Day. Shattered by their failure and loss, Victoro and Ammalia Cassalanter vow to destroy those who thwarted them. Getting the gold. This event can occur only on Founder's Day or sooner. Armed with the Stone of Galore and the keys to unlock the Vault of Dragons, Victoro Cassalanter enters the vault, uses a disguised self spell to appear as Lord de Gault Neverember, and tricks Oranax the Gold Dragon into relinquishing the gold. A dozen House Cassalanter guards, disguised as members of the City Guard, stuff the gold into sacks, while a dozen more haul the sacks to a pair of waiting carriages for safe transport back to Cassalanter Villa. Each sack holds 1,000 gold pieces, and each carriage can hold 50 sacks or 5,000 gold pieces at a time. Getting the gold from the Vault of Dragons to Cassalanter Villa takes 10 round trips, 5 per carriage, and the better part of a day. 3 invisible imps accompany each carriage, which is driven by a bearded devil wearing a hat and a high-collared cape to conceal its true nature. Upon arrival at the Cassalanter Villa, each carriage is met by a dozen guards in House Cassalanter livery, who unload the sacks of gold and place them in Area C29. Day of the Damned. This event occurs if the Cassalanters obtain the gold from the Vault of Dragons. Ammalia Cassalanter hosts a grand party on Founder's Day that begins in the early afternoon and ends at midnight. Wealthy guests begin to arrive in the late afternoon and gather inside the villa, away from the sun and the heat, while 100 of Waterdeep's poorest residents, most brought from the field ward, gather under pavilions set up on the lawn. Hired actors dressed as Waterdeep's founders parade about, and bards play lively tunes. No one suspects that the food in the pavilion tents has been laced with midnight tears, a poison that will slay the impoverished guests at the stroke of midnight. Ammalia is immune to poison and thus partakes freely of the delicious food. Wealthy guests who remain holed up in Cassalanter Villa eat and drink at separate tables and are spared a grisly end. An hour before midnight, the entertainers disperse as Ammalia begins making toast to her wealthy guests, turning them into unwitting accomplices by virtue of their presence and thus ensuring their silence. Meanwhile, house guards prevent any of the rabble from leaving, forcibly detaining anyone who tries to flee. Unless the characters prevent the poor folk from eating the tainted food, those attendees consume the poison and perish at the stroke of midnight. While Ammalia plays host, Victoro instructs his cultists to remove the sacks of gold from House Cassalanter's vault in Area C29 and hurl them into the sacrificial bowl of Area A7. They finish shortly before midnight. At the stroke of midnight, as the poison does its work, Ammalia keeps an eye on her wealthy guests and orders Tissina Khyret to notify Victoro that the deed is done. Standing before the statue of Asmodeus in the temple, Victoro summons a barbed devil and informs it that payment has been made in full. The devil declares in Infernal that the payment is satisfactory, and informs Victoro that the souls of Terenzio and Elzerina will not be taken to the 9 hells. Then it disappears whence it came, leaving the Cassalanters to bask in their triumph. After the party, in the dark hours of morning, the corpses of the dead are cast into the fiery bowl in Area A7, leaving no evidence of foul play. In the days and months that follow, Victoro and Ammalia use threats of diabolical retribution to silence witnesses and wield their political clout to squash criminal investigations.